the local teachers of a state keep conducting such Olympiads, and people who are performing well, let's say the top 20% or 30%, whatever be, they get within quotes shortlisted for taking JEE. All right. Now what this does is, A, it brings back focus to the school education, to the school teacher, because he can now coach his students to do Olympiads.
Every school will start an Olympiad, and every coaching institute will start preparing people for the Olympiad.
So we are not questioning coaching institutes. We are not questioning.
No, we are not. But even HRD, by the way, their view is that this move is not against coaching institute, because whatever you do, coaching will come in whatever form which is there. Yeah, Himanshu, you had a point.
Yeah, when CK was explaining that process, you had a point that the time for taking the JEE after getting the board exam, there was a problem with that. Now, the thing is, when we are having, say, aptitude-based exam twice in a year or thrice in a year, we can take, say, 30% of that as eligible students to take JEE. And then, before the JEE marks are announced, the results are announced, the board will also be considered. So board results will be out by then. You just have to add these three to get to the selection.
So you are suggesting that weightage should be given to all the three?
Yes, because not only this, you may have people who are outstanding in different fields. Like supposing somebody is in music. If you have a state level or some performance in that, or in cricket, or in any other field, some weightage should also be given to that, because after all, when we are going for development, it's not only using the left side of your brain, the right side also is required for the design. So there should be a consideration given to that aspect of the performance also. So that's
Can I make a suggestion here?
Yeah.
Why don't we do the JEE in October and then tell the guy by December who's in and out, and say you have to meet your top X% in your higher secondary exam in March before you get into the thing in July. Why do I have to do it after the higher secondary? I can do it before the higher secondary. I'm not looking for academics. I'm looking for a special kind of skill. So give it earlier. Identify the top 25 or 15,000 or whatever number there is, and say, you guys better get these marks, otherwise we're not going to consider you for admission.
What I said, it will marry with that. What I said, it will marry with that.
But that way you don't, he can't give up his school.
Exactly.
If that's what you're worried about, then he can't give up his school, because he has to get that percentile to come in.
I think Pradeep,
so I'm hearing two very opposing point of views. One which says that take the weightage of all the three exams, and one which says that do not, and take the weightage only of one exam. Okay.
Pradeep, I think
you have the mic.
Yeah, Pradeep, the point that I think you had put for discussion was the 40% weightage of the school marks, which probably is being propounded by the ministry or whatever it is. My take is that the education being a state subject, and with such a diversity, the kind of diversity that we have in the country, this normalization of the school marks, I think it's not going to be foolproof. It's going to be very, very difficult to really have a foolproof system of normalization of the school marks. It's going to be we may probably, like Professor Indrasen said, it is statistically possible, but I think it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you, because if I was a small state and I've got it normalized, I'll fool around 1 year and get a whole lot of
Absolutely. So it's going to be a very difficult thing.
No, sorry, small state, what?
If I was a small state and you normalize the last 4 years, I'll fool this year, and under that normalization, I'll get a whole lot of other people get qualified. That's easy for me to do. I can change if my cutoff was 95, I could make it 85 or vice versa.
It's difficult to have a foolproof.
It's very difficult.
No, it's very difficult.
Multiple exams and have them equalized. This is, I remember in my time, when I did my ICSC, they said you got to take 5% marks away and then be equivalent to CBSE or whatever. I thought it was crazy. Why 5? Why not 4? Why not 10? I mean, and why not add? Why subtract? There's no logic to this.
No, so that is not being propounded. In the entire scheme, what is being talked about is that the top 25% will form under a certain range. So if whatever the board does, if you're a small state,
What you're trying to do is reduce the number of people who apply for the exam?
no. In terms of if you have to give a weightage, then what is the statistical criteria? So hear me out. If a small state in which only 4,000 people are sitting, then only the top 25% will be treated as equivalent.
No, if I had to give a weightage...
So it is not that all 4,000 can come in.
I don't want academics. My entrance exam is giving me my academic criteria. Why do I want additional weightage for academics? If I had to give additional weightage, I'd give it to music or some such thing that makes the student a little rounder. Social work, stuff like that. But again, it's very difficult to do, so I'm not suggesting it because it's too subjective right now. I don't have an objective criteria.
But this whole idea of trying to normalize results across multiple boards across the country through any kind of a model can never give you something that brings everything on par.
Absolutely.
Every statistical model is based on some assumptions which are man-made assumptions based on whatever kind of data. So you'll never have, like what he said, that one guy was number one in his state, but he couldn't perform even in the basic level required to continue at 4 zeros. So as long as you cannot go through an exercise that will bring people on par, I think the exercise is a wasteful exercise.
It's going to be a difficult thing, very difficult.
Yeah. So they are trying to be politically correct as well as trying to do it in a manner. But by the way, that only happens, that 1 mark is between the top few of the top quarter, not even decile of the board versus the top. But the 1 mark makes a difference to 500 rank. Okay, so you have the mic.
Yeah. So there are two issues here. First issue is that of coaching. We are currently in a market-based economy, and coaching institutes, they are serving a need. There is a demand for them. That's the reason that they are there. And any regulation, if we are trying to implement, it will not work. The only way to tackle the issue of coaching is to create competition.
Let's leave the coaching thing aside.
Okay.
Neither are we saying that any move, any change is to go against or for the coaching industry.
Okay. Right.
Neither is the HRD ministry saying that this has been prompted by the coaching industry. So that's not.
So
let's put that aside.
The second issue is that of board exams. So some people have here suggested that we should have 3 layers of examinations. It will only increase to the madness that a person or a student at that level is subjected to. And we have multiple exams that adds to that madness. So what I suggest is that we have a common aptitude test that could be IITREE, which is comparatively a very simple test. And based on that test, we can select 50,000 next layer of students who will sit for JEE. Now this will solve 3 problems. This way, we'll be able to maintain the quality of the students.
That is exactly what Mr. Vesh said, that you have the aptitude test first. No, it's a repetition. I mean, we have a... Yeah, so... this is the internet generation, this is the Twitter generation, so, let's keep it to 140 words.
Yeah. The second issue it will solve is that it will give the government the say which it wants, that we are also having a say in IIT-JEE through IITREE. And the third thing is that the IIT themselves, they will have the autonomy of selecting those out of those 50,000 people. The best students out of those 50,000. It will solve all the problems. If we have 2 layers of tests. And coming back to boards, we can consider them. say 40%, 50%, because if you're not scoring 50% in boards, there's a problem. But we cannot give them any weightage just because of the